So I'm in Forza Horizon 4 again, and just at the Horizon Festival here. So thought I would show off the cars a little more and then do a bit of driving if there's time. So I'm doing these shorter 15-minute videos just so I can get some of them back into the YouTube channel without having to do a lot of editing. So apologies if you're expecting the longer format. I'm going to do another one in the longer format in, I think, Forza Horizon 5 and 6 as well later today. So let's just go into the garage and take a look. So let's go from the other side of the alphabet here. And I was talking about cars that weren't in the other games, which is kind of a weird way to take a look at it, but it's applicable in the sense if you have Forza 4, 5, 6, or possibly more of the games, then you start being a little more choosy about the cars. So you can see here, there's an 850 and a V60 here that you don't see in Forza Horizon 6 yet. They only have the 240 at the bottom there, which is of course the most iconic one of that era. The modern stuff is not really as distinctive. Here you can see there's a Volkswagen Touareg, which is not in the other games, I think, or at least not in 6 yet. Definitely, it's from the 2000s, so it's like I was saying, it's in that magical period where they started dropping some of the cars from the games just because they're too old, and there's newer versions of the cars that they want to feature. Same with the Vauxhall VXR and Corsa here. So I believe they did carry them into 5, but they're not. I think only the Astra is in there, I think, right now. So yeah, it's just cars in the middle. I mean, there's obviously cars that are extremely important, and those ones they would tend to bring over as soon as possible. Here you can see that there's a Tuscan S, for example. It's not in the other game. They just probably thought, oh, well, we have so many Tuscans and so many other cars to deal with. These Triumphs here, they're not in the game, not in 6 yet. So I've got two Baja trucks, right? I've got the normal one, and then the Welcome Pack version, which has a little more power. Yeah, so that's the only difference between the two. This one has 470, this one has 360 horsepower. So they're in, I think, the same class. They're both in Class A. So yeah, you'll probably pick the faster one if you're just trying to win races or things. Yeah, and there's older cars like this, right? The 2016 rally car. I think this is just the Forza edition or Welcome Pack. Yeah, it's the Welcome Pack version with a bit more horsepower. GTA Spano, I don't think they brought that one over. And let's see. So I was just talking about the Renault 5 Turbo. You can see there's a Forza edition with the kind of a zooty-looking red trim on it with insane amounts of power, 520 horsepower. Yeah, so maybe let's look at that one. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, this should look pretty similar though. I mean, it should be identical other than all the extra fog lights. Okay, so just to the Forzavista. Yeah, so they've just added a lot of fog lights here, kind of for night racing, I assume. Yeah, you can't open the hood on this one, unfortunately. Yeah, otherwise it looks like a normal Renault 5 Turbo on the inside, like the other one I showed you. Regular blue. Yeah, just this one has more power, and it looks like they've upgraded the wheels on it as well. Yeah, up here. That turbocharged engine. So the racing versions of this car might have gotten to about this level of power at some point. They're near 400, 500 horsepower, depending on the tune and the rules for each of the racing series. Yeah, so I think I'll try to drive that at some point. Yeah, there's so many cars in the list now. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so yeah, that was Renault. and the usual newer versions of the Clio, the Megane, etc. The Reliant Supervan, I just got that in Forza Horizon 6, so we'll go for a test drive in that as well. Maybe throw it in a race or something. We'll have to see. I know that's not a particularly fast car, but it might be fun to modify one of those and have you guys watch along. So Porsche here, I think it's the same cars. So they've kept, I think, all of these cars. So nothing much to say about this. There's a lot of crossover with the same Porsches in the other game. Here's a Pontiac GTO. So I think I was looking for that one in Horizon 5. So at least you can drive it in 4 here. So I'm not too worried. I was looking at getting this heavy CUDA in 6 as well, but I already have it here in this game, so we can drive that. Here's the Peugeot, of course, that I was talking about, and then there's the really insane Forza Edition version of it with a lot of extra aero and power. Yeah, they're both all-wheel drive. So you can see there's an Opel Kadett here that's missing from the other game as well. So that would be a good one to drive as well. So maybe let's get in that just to do the Forzavista, and we might drive it later on in a separate stream. Yeah, so I would say this is a normal car, right? I mean, it's a compact car of the era, not particularly powerful, from the early 70s, right? But I'm sure they sold these in the hundreds of thousands or possibly the millions. So that's a good reason really to include cars like this. They don't have to be hypercars and supercars, but they were just very familiar, and like people have great feelings and nostalgia. They might have driven one of these cars when they were younger, so it's good to have cars like this, right? These are real classics. I mean, just look at it. The design of the car is also very classic as well, and people back in the period might have not have given it much of a second thought. They might have thought, oh yeah, this is it's just a normal car. A normal person with a normal job can buy one of these after a while. They save up. But, to us, especially in 2026, right, when cars are becoming so bad and so expensive to maintain and run. And you can see it has a beautiful paint color on it too. So, I mean, cars' paint colors have also changed as well. And that really kind of adds to the charisma and charm of these classic cars. Even though, they're of course not the fastest. But, look at this. It still has a manual transmission with the 3 pedals, but different colors of pedals. And a lot less going on the dash, right? Just a very simple 90 mile per hour speedo clock and a radio control in the dashboard. Very charming. Sorry, I'll just start the car up as well. So yeah, I'll figure out which one of these cars will take on a little bit of a test drive. But we're operating under the 15-minute constraint just to have this video for YouTube. I don't know why they have that arbitrary limit, but until you get monetized, you can only do shorter videos uploading to YouTube. Yeah, so let's go back into the collection. So we were at Opel. So here's an Oldsmobile 442, almost 400 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. Pretty cool classic muscle car. A lot of people think that's a real, that's a car to have, basically, if you're into kind of cars, muscle cars of the period. So with the Nissan, you get several Skylines here, and even the Fairlady Z as well, which I don't have yet in Horizon 4. And then it's mostly the same cars, just kind of slightly older years, I think, for some of them. Oddly, this one, the Skyline GTR, is a 2002, and in Horizon 6, it's a 2000, so that's interesting. So they've picked slightly different years of the cars, but they're so similar within the R34s. You can see it has a little more horsepower at 330 instead of 276 or whatever the gentleman's agreement limit was back in the day before they broke it. I think they broke it in 2008 or something. The Mitsubishi Starion here. So I think I have this one in Horizon 5 as well, but I haven't quite gotten it in 6 yet. And of course, that was also, I think, known as the Chrysler Conquest in the US. So it was just kind of a rebadged version of the same car. A rear-wheel drive turbo 4 car from the 80s. Preceding this newer one, for example, Mitsubishi Eclipse. Right? So it was the forerunner to that. The Eclipse, of course, is a inline 4 turbo engine as well, but to the front-wheel drive and also all-wheel drive. And then, of course, the upmarket sister, the GTO, also known as the 3000 GT in the US, and the Dodge Stealth with the V6 turbo and all-wheel drive. Yeah, so the Starion was kind of the precursor to those in the 80s. Some MG cars, of course, from the 60s here. There's a Midget from MG as well. Not much to say about those minis. They're kind of the same cars. And these are actually the same Mercedes too. So it's interesting. Once you start like kind of playing the other games, the newer games, you start to see where they've kept the same cars and then kind of added some newer ones or changed the years. So you can see I've got the Cosmo in this game at least. And I fully modified it, so this is kind of race parts. So now it has 300 horsepower, which is pretty crazy. Same with this FB RX-7. It's race modified, so it has 400 horsepower. Yeah, back when I was playing Forza Horizon 4, I was going a little nuts on modifying the cars for fun. So because Forza Horizon 6 is newer, I've been trying to save my credits just to buy cars. I haven't done as much credit earning over a shorter period of time so far. So I'm just keeping my modifications to just a very select number of cars that I have in my garage. Yeah, I just released a video on my YouTube channel's community page about the 037, so check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Here's an older Lamborghini, the Jarama or Jarama S. Looks like it's probably like a 4-seater. And then they've got the usual Lamborghinis with an Urus concept, which became, of course, a real Urus SUV later on. Yeah, otherwise, like, okay, here's a Kia Stinger. That car is not in the other games, as far as I know. So let's take a look at that one. Okay, so yeah, this got pretty good reviews when the Kia Stinger was released. It has a V6 turbo by Kia Hyundai. And I believe it's rear-wheel drive, so that's unusual, of course, in the segment when so many sedans switched over to front-wheel drive, so that gave it a more sporty character. So I believe the Stinger was selling pretty well back in the 20-teens, but I can't remember if they've discontinued it now. I think they have. So this is actually a historical car in a sense, but one that a lot of people still remember coming from recent years. Well, you might even own one, so yeah, if you do, just let me know in the comments. I saw a note from Twitch that they're now allowing comments for the video streams. So as soon as that becomes available, definitely make use of that. I haven't really seen anyone in the chats, of course, because I stream at odd times. So I'll try to get on that too. So maybe we'll have a regularly kind of time stream so that you can kind of log in and check up on me live when I'm actually streaming. So like, 5 o'clock p.m. or something Eastern time, something like that, just so people know what to expect. Yeah, not much to say. I mean, it's got the infotainment. It has conventional dials, not a screen. 180 mile per hour, speedo, 6,500 RPM red line, and then a bit of a display in between the two dials. Yeah, and it's the paddle shifter in this case. All right, so we're bumping right up against the 15-minute limit, so let's just quickly go in the garage and go back to Kia-ish. And just take a look and see if there's anything else. Yeah, the James Bond cars, so we'll check those out as well. But, right. So I'll just end the stream here, and I'll upload this to YouTube, and then we'll continue on, actually. So I'm just kind of warmed up right now. So, but we're hitting the 15-minute limit. So thanks for checking out the video, and I'll do another one very shortly, actually.